Hello, welcome to episode 4 of my YouTube channel entitled The Dharma Effect. I'm Robin Stutzman, psychotherapist, author, and mindfulness teacher. In this episode, I divert from the path I've been taking so far, talking about the wisdom teachings of Buddhist psychology, such as impermanence, and some basic mindfulness practices we've been doing. So I'll divert to talking once again about the human stress response, how we can derail it using mindfulness, and ways we can influence our body to produce more oxytocin, which counteracts the cortisol that's produced when we're stressed. And as a reminder, all of my episodes are laser focused on our moments of interpersonal reactivity, our mores. Several branches of spiritual teaching say there are only two fundamental emotions, love or fear, and this is also true of the body. All mammals, including humans, have two opposing responses to stimuli. The stress reaction that's triggered by actual or perceived emotional or physical threat is underlying all forms of fear, and all negative emotions evolve from fear. The opposing response is triggered by cues of safety, belonging, and love. And when the brain senses these, it triggers the production of oxytocin, which in turn creates more feelings of safety, bonding, compassion, and love. All pleasant emotions that we can have evolve out of love. We can learn to deactivate the stress response and at the same time increase the oxytocin production, causing more connection and harmony in our mores. Let's break down how this might work. So when our brain perceives a threat, whether physical, emotional, or imagined, our amygdala, the fear center of the brain, sends messages to the adrenal glands, which start pumping out the stress hormones. And there are several, but the one most of us have heard about is cortisol. Cortisol triggers the heart to pump faster, the muscles to tense, rapid breathing, and more, all to prepare the body to fight or flee. In addition, the brain produces fear-based thoughts. You know what those are like. The ones that say, oh no, oh no, oh no, something worse will happen, oh no, disaster. These fear-based thoughts serve to protect us from the perceived threat. This stress reaction happens in the blink of an eye, below our level of awareness usually. And our brain can start responding this way with the slightest of emotional threats, such as our partner frowning at us. When this happens, we give off those unfriendly cues we've been talking about. Our facial expression, tone of voice, and body language will trigger people around us to also go into a stress reaction. And these reactions can be ever so slight, but still cause increasing amounts of stress between two people. So cortisol is the culprit, along with our cave person's hypervigilant brain. Fortunately, we can nudge our body to reduce cortisol output via all the mindfulness practices we'll be learning, but also by encouraging the production of oxytocin. Oxytocin, as we said, is associated with love, bonding, compassion, and safety, and it shuts down the production of cortisol. So studies show that mindfulness practice, especially the kindness and compassion practices, cause more output of oxytocin. In fact, scientists have measured the level of oxytocin in blood and saliva before and after mindfulness practice and found that the level of oxytocin significantly increased in the blood and saliva. This is great news, right? We have the neurotechnology to transform moments of interpersonal stress to moments of ease and connection just by doing these practices. And a short period of mindfulness practice has also been shown to reduce levels of cortisol in blood and saliva. So this age-old practice does two things at once. It reduces cortisol and increases oxytocin. What a combination! I'll close by offering a brief guided mindfulness meditation that when learned and practiced for 20 minutes on a regular basis, will do just that: reduce cortisol output and increase oxytocin. And this practice will only be about 5 minutes, but you can work up to a 20-minute practice following the same instructions and receive the benefits we've discussed. And by the way, I've placed a link to my SoundCloud account in the discussion so that you can find longer practices if you want. So, taking a posture that's upright, relaxed, and also yet alert. The chest is open, the shoulder blades are melting down the spine, and closing eyes if that's comfortable. Becoming as still as you can in the body. At the same time, noticing thoughts as they're happening right now without trying to stop them or block them. Noticing sensations in the body as they are right now, not trying to change them. And also any emotions that you may be having. And again, not trying to change those or suppress them. And then noticing where it is you're feeling the breath most prominently in your body. It could be the belly, filling and emptying. Maybe the ribs opening and closing. Or the chest rising and falling. Or maybe you feel the breath most prominently in your nostrils. The sound of the air and the brush as it enters and exits your nostrils. Simply focusing awareness on that location in the body where you feel it most prominently. There's a sensation maybe of settling. So gathering your awareness wherever it was, thinking, and returning awareness to the breath and body and settling it there. And just feeling the rhythm of the breath in the body for a moment. And let the breath come naturally, not trying to make it long or deep or steady. And throughout this practice, anytime you notice your mind wandering away from the breath to anything at all, actually thoughts or prominent physical sensations or emotions or even sounds, simply notice what the mind was distracted by, very gently and in a sort of a friendly way. Return your awareness to the actual physical sensations of the breath. And knowing that just these simple practices of gathering your awareness from wherever it was, and then settling and resting your awareness on the breath, is beginning to deactivate the cortisol response. When you're doing this on your own, you might just rest your awareness here on the breath for 5 or 10 minutes. The next part of this practice will invite you to put your hand on your heart and just be aware of the contact between your chest and the palm of your hand, maybe the warmth or the pressure. And knowing that this area of the body is hardwired to produce oxytocin when it's touched. Now, there's a neural net around the heart that can sense this compassionate touch and respond by stimulating the production of oxytocin. And just see if you can add a quality of self-care, kindness to this action of mindful breathing with your hand on your heart. Another action you can do is ever so slightly, if it feels natural, turn up the corners of your mouth in a half smile. This can create a connection between the muscles around the mouth and the heart. It can enhance the production of oxytocin. So hearing the sound of the bells all the way through to the end before opening your eyes and coming back to the video. And that's it. So that was a brief mindfulness practice that incorporates these two processes of deactivating cortisol but increasing oxytocin as well. So you can practice this a few times and then begin to do it on your own for a longer period, say 20 minutes. Until next time, be safe, happy, and peaceful.